Hey guys, welcome to the first ever episode on this YouTube channel. On this episode, we're going to look at the way that I installed the amplifier in my car for my subwoofer. I'm going to give you some tips along the way, and there's probably hundreds of videos on subwoofer installs, but the way that I installed mine I feel is less common, if not unique. So I'd like to share that with you. So here goes. The first step is to remove the radio. You're going to want to pry off the interior trim covering the 4 screws that hold the radio in. After this, the radio can be slid out and disconnected. After that, you're going to want to disconnect the Automotive control module. It's the same process to remove this. Now you're going to want to get a wiring diagram and figure out which wires you want to tee into. In this case, I teed into the rear door speakers. For my install, I used a line-out converter. Make sure to follow the wiring diagrams that come with it. I then spliced into the harness and soldered the wires securely. These style of wire strippers make it easy to split the casing on the wire in order to splice in. This is a line-out converter. Its primary purpose is to provide a means to connect your RCA cables to your stock head unit. It also provides a signal wire to turn on your amplifier, and it also provides a means to control the volume of the signal going to the amplifier. There's plenty of room behind the Climatronics control module below the radio to mount the line-out converter. I found this to be ideal. The line-out converter is supplied with constant battery power and ground. When it senses the signal from the speaker wires, it relays the power to the remote wire to turn on the amplifier. It can sense the radio is on even if there is no sound coming from the speakers at all, and it turns off the signal wire as soon as the radio is turned off. On my car, there is an unused terminal on the power distribution block that works perfect for tapping in to run the amp. It's always best to attach the positive directly to the battery, but in this case I had no problems resulting from attaching it this way. I ran the wire through the grommet for the clutch pedal, which I don't have. Then I hid the wires underneath the interior trim for maximum stealth. Whoa, hold up Nick. What is that tiny little red wire running to your amplifier? Like, are you crazy? That thing is about this big around. You should have a wire about that big around. Like, what are you doing? Well, the thing is, because I mounted my amplifier under the seat, as you'll see in a minute, I didn't need to run as heavy a wire. I didn't have to run as heavy a wire because the wire didn't have to go all the way to the trunk like most people install their amplifiers. This is where my install starts to become less common and more unique. Because I'm only running 140 watts RMS, which is about 20 amps at the most it's ever going to be, and I'm only running my wires about 5 feet from the battery to the amplifier, I don't need humongous cable. In fact, all I need is 12 gauge wiring. Now there's charts online if you Google search them in order to help you out with this. So if you're running more wattage through your amplifier, then you may need a heavier cable. But in this instance, with the amount of cable that I'm running and the amount of amps that I'm running through it, I don't need anything heavier. I tucked the RCA cables and the signal wire under the seat rail and then under the center console and ran them up to the line-out converter. Here you can see the line-out converter installed with double-sided tape. I used sticky tack to secure the volume knob in this location, then I routed the wire along the center console to the line-out converter. I hid the wiring beneath the carpet for even more stealth. Here you can see the ground wire attached discreetly to the seat bolt. You don't want your ground wire to be any longer than 24 inches. The shorter the ground wire, the better. I found some used wire looms, so I threw that on there to see how it looked. I still haven't decided if I'm going to leave it yet. I also ran 12 gauge speaker wire to the subwoofer. I ran thinner wire before, but the amplifier got way too hot because of the resistance. The cable that I ran before was also heavily oxidized inside the casing. I also found inside the subwoofer that the wire was very thin and was pinched between the subwoofer and the box itself, so I replaced that with 12 gauge wire. The amplifier now runs much cooler. Well guys, that's it for this episode. There's a lot of things that I could have gone into more detail about on how to set up levels and whatnot, but I think that would kind of get past the point of the video, which was to show how you can mount the amplifier in different locations of your vehicle. You don't have to do it like most people and put it in the back and run all of that thick wiring and try to hide it all the way to the length of the car. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you liked the video, make sure to click like. If you want to see more videos, make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to follow the channel on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more.